independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Tasmania, Australia. Today I have a really fun technique to share with you. It's called alcohol ink art. However, I have approached this technique in a slightly different way, as I wanted to create a larger ombre background and add a bit of shimmer. So, after a fun afternoon of experimenting, this is what I came up with. Now I've cut a piece of vellum cardstock to size, and I selected two Stampin' Blend combos, Night of Navy and Misty Moonlight. And with the dark Night of Navy in the brush tip end, I've just simply started to apply the Stampin' Blends to the vellum. Just wide brush strokes to cover the entire width of the vellum cardstock and to about a quarter of the way down from the top. Then here I'll change over with the dark Misty Moonlight Stampin' Blend. Yeah, I just had to check to see if it was the dark Misty Moonlight, so I've continued on with that to about halfway down the vellum cardstock. And then next I'm going to pick up the light Night of Navy Stampin' Blend and just start doing the lower section of the card to about 3/4 of the way down. And then the last bit at the bottom I'm going to finish off with the light Misty Moonlight Stampin' Blend using the wide brush tip on the blends. Now Stampin' Blends are alcohol markers from Stampin' Up! Then step number 2, you're going to see me get a spray bottle of 100% isopropyl alcohol. Now this is not the rubbing alcohol that you get from the supermarket. I picked this bottle up from the paint section in Bunnings. So step number 2, simply spray the background that you've coloured in with the blends. Give it a good coating with the isopropyl alcohol. I think I'm going to call it the stuff from now on. It's a bit easier to say than isopropyl. And I'm fortunate to still have my colour spritzing tool from Stampin' Up! That retired years ago. But basically any tool that will blow around the ink when it mixes with the isopropyl will do. And next I just simply added huge big blobs of the stuff. Just took the lid off and just added blobs of the isopropyl to the background. Now at this point in time you will appreciate that I have cut heaps out of this video as I reckon it took me about 10 to 12 minutes to achieve the look that I wanted for this particular background, and I just did a lot of spraying, blowing the ink around the vellum cardstock just to get the look that I wanted to create, to really blend it through, to get those lovely spidery veins happening and the different blues blending together. Of course you don't really see the ombre effect as much when you start to spread the ink around, but generally speaking it does go from dark to light. It's just a little bit hard to tell, obviously, because you're moving the ink around from one section to the next. Now you will notice that I'm wearing gloves because the warning on the bottle tells you to avoid putting on this 100% isopropyl alcohol on your skin. So it's a great idea to pop some gloves on, and it also helps to cover up my very short unpainted nails. Yep, I was pretty happy with the way that turned out, so now we're ready for the next stage. So I got a little bottle of Frost White Shimmer paint, and I grabbed an old aqua painter because you don't want to use your new water painters and ruin them. So I just simply added blobs to the background, just little blobs of the Frost White shimmer paint. And then you repeat the process again by adding some large blobs of the isopropyl alcohol to the actual blobs of Frost White shimmer paint. So it was a little bit tricky to blow the shimmer paint around. It wasn't as easy to spread with the tool as the actual Stampin' Blend ink itself, but I kept on adding some isopropyl alcohol to the Frost White shimmer paint and just persevered until I got it to spread out a lot more and blend in with the blue. I've cut a lot of the footage out because you don't want to see me sit here for the next 5 minutes and do that process. So it took a while, but in the end I was pretty happy with the way that it turned out. And the Frost White shimmer paint just adds a really pretty effect to the alcohol ink blending, or what they call the alcohol ink art technique. So I just thought it looked great. So it's now ready to pop on a card. And I've used the beautiful detailed dove dies to make a lovely Christmas card with this background. Thanks so much for watching my technique video today. If you like what you saw, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.